Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I like to look at everything. So we take more time, however, to look at the spiritual blocks of shadows, see how they play those karmic themes, help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. Because we get stuck ruminating. We get stuck ruminating on experiences that just don't make sense. They don't make sense. And understand there's a lot of unseen things, meaning psychological and emotional, that when you get triggered, that you're awakening. See, you wouldn't be able to get triggered if there wasn't a wound there to begin with. So imagine stubbing your toe in the same exact spot day after day after day after day on the same coffee table. You would take that coffee table and you would smash it into a million freaking pieces and get joy out of doing it because your toe hurts. And understand, even when the table is gone because you stubbed your toe on it about 50 million times, when you wake up in the middle of the night and you got to go to the kitchen and you had to walk past that coffee table, even though the coffee table's gone, you're gonna walk completely around it. You're going to scrunch your toes up to make sure that nothing touches it, and you're going to be overly careful, just like a wound, right? A psychological wound. Otherwise, what happens is that you know and the reason why is because we haven't reconditioned ourselves. See, again, when you live in an environment that's traumatic, well, you form habits and behaviorisms. So just like the coffee table that stubbed your toe and it hurt like hell, well, you're going to form those habits and behaviorisms to navigate in the living room because you wanted to keep the damn coffee table before you actually, broke it into a million pieces. And so, I like to do these readings because it helps you to stop ruminating, because the ruminating adds more negative energy. So, you might be having an okay day, but then if you begin to ruminate on a situation, now you're in a bad mood. And so this energetic negative connection that you have with a person. Now, again, I never know why I'm going to start the readings the way that I do, but I guess we're going to talk about a negative energetic connection that you have. And you're dealing with, like, I feel like a little bit of a coward, because again, that person knows you're pissed off. But see, you have a lot of fire when you get pissed off. And that's manifestation energy. It's, again, what comes with being a highly sensitive, or it comes with being emotional. So that person can feel your energy. So they're a little terrified. So, and that's what I'm feeling. So we're going to see why I feel what I'm feeling. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. I don't know if you noticed my bracelets. It's not like a ring that you could go like this. So anyway, I'd have to do it like this. So anyway, but I'm wearing these otter spirit bracelets that are so pretty. I love this one, the watermelon chalcite. Look at this. It's just, you can feel your heart opening just by looking at the color. I know that sounds so stupid, but it's like when something brings you joy, when something brings you happiness, when something's so pretty. And these chakras work with the heart. These crystals, rather, work with the heart chakra. And my heart chakra is blocked. And if you resonate with this video, well, then guess what? You probably have a heart chakra block too, but blocks in the heart aren't just caused from relationships, like that where they're intimate and their love life. No, they're also caused from family karma, family trauma that's inherited. And so, it's a lifelong journey. So having crystals to align your energy It's not that the crystal's healing you, because crystals, like I said, I think that the intention that you put on the crystal, the awareness of what the crystal means, helps you create awareness. I don't believe that we need anything outside of ourselves to be whole, including crystals. We don't need, but do they work to help me stay balanced? Absolutely. Why? Because would I remember to keep my heart chakra open? No. And like I almost ripped off a person's head 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah, they wasted my day today. They were supposed to be here at 10:30, didn't show up, and I'm waiting, and I'm, waiting to do videos because I don't want to be interrupted. And he's like, I'm in Jacksonville. And I'm like, fucking Jacksonville. I'm in St. Augustine. Like, he was like, well, you didn't let me know if I could come. You were supposed to be here at 10:30. And I got nasty. And I didn't care. The fire. But then I looked at my crystals, and then after the person was like, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to your day. And because I have these crystals on, I looked down and I said, I get it. I said, I'm just mad that I didn't press send, and I did have other things to do today. Now I'll be up until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing videos. That's not fair. And so, how we react when we're out of balance, we can tell when we have a blocked heart chakra. And is it bad to have a heart block? I can't talk. It's bad to have a block in your heart chakra, because we're down here to be the expressions of love, to give and receive of love. So if we have a block in the heart chakra, it means that we need to forgive, which is why Spirit wants to talk about the rumination. All right, let's see. Anyway, if you like these bracelets, you can check out their catalog. They have a bunch of different ones. And if you order, you get 15% off just from ordering, and they're really pretty. Like I said, I really like these. And I'm not like, they don't rub, they don't pull on your fucking hair. Like, listen, I'm picky. It's like, I have ones that pull on your hair, and I never wear it on your arm. I don't have enough hair on my arm to pull, but if it's a cheap bracelet, it does. And it hurts. All right. So the underlying energy is why everyone does what they do. And that's important when you're dealing with a person that wears masks and facades, past life. Oh, so let's see. We're going to pull another. I'm getting insight already. I'm getting feelings already. Getting those tingles already. All right. Universal panacea. Oh, come on. It's like spirit. Come on, spirit. Well, what spirit is saying is that, yeah, past life karmic mate, soulmate. Universal panacea is a magic pill, which is unconditional love. So again, why it hurts, why we're stuck. It's like, because that this person, like you knew that this person was your divine counterpart. You knew it. You knew it, but you saw them for who they betrayed themselves to be. And I feel like that's not the way that they are, because guess what? Selfish. Person that's your divine counterpart wouldn't be selfish. So let's see what they did. We're going right into the triggers. Enough. You had enough of this person's really bad temper and disrespect. But again, I feel like they have a blocked heart chakra. And past life karmic mates are ones that they have an opportunity to step it up into the twin flame energy. Every lifetime they do. This person lost you in a past lifetime. So there is this like push and pull that you have with them for no reason. Like, you'll feel like this person will do what someone else asked them to do. But if you say, hey, I need you to do this, they purposely go out of their way not to do it. And so there's a psychological reversal there. And that's when a person like has major intimacy issues. And so they do what sabotages the connection. is what I feel. It's like, and part of that is you just felt like there was still an emotional connection between them and their a past person, and it triggered you. But the truth is, what I'm hearing is that this person didn't really have a strong emotional connection with that person when they were with that person. Now that they're not with that person, they're going to act all flirty. They're going to act all nice. They're going to act accommodating, especially if they have children. And they're going to do it for two reasons. One, because it's going to be like, well, I don't want to step on this person's toes because I wasn't emotionally there for them. And I'm not comfortable being emotionally open to anyone. I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem getting a person. I have a problem being in that. This your person. So the thing is, if it seems like they're giving a little bit more to that ex, well, then it's going to make, if you're insecure, you're going to give more. You know what I mean? So, and they're going to pretend that they don't know. They're going to pretend that they don't know what they're doing. And the disrespect too is if you're saying something to this person, they're going to expect you to like deal with it because it's their situation. Where you're like, no, you're always putting me in a situation where I have to be less than, that I have to settle for less. And that is really the trigger. It's like, I don't care that I'm like your person, or we have a connection. I tell you what's the problem. You withdraw from me. And you're dishonest because I don't really know what's going on, and it's like, I feel like you're always in this energy of, do they like me? Do they not like me? Are they gonna, where they don't want to be emotionally open and past. Like, I feel like this person had a hard time letting go of the past. And you're right in the aspect that they can't go from one relationship into another. This person hasn't learned how to really set appropriate boundaries. So what's going to play out is a lot of chaos in the relationship where this person has intimacy problems. They create that self-fulfilling prophecy because they're not honest. And they're not honest because they're walking around on eggshells around certain people and situations. And the thing is, if you're going to make this person feel comfortable with you, well, they're going to disrespect you. And that's what you see here. So instead of this person treating you like the divine counterpart that you are, they're going to expect you to settle for less. They're going to treat you the way that they kind of treat themselves, which is not nice, which is not a nice way. Because you give this person unconditional love, or they can feel that unconditional love. When meanwhile, this person has a lot of wounds. Now we're going to look and see also, be like, don't worry about what this person thinks and what they're going to do, but you always have to know what you're dealing with, the wounds, and why the relationship is hard and why it would trigger you. Again, they just needed to, again, heal a lot of, past unresolved conflicts. And because until they do, it's their relationship will always be turbulent because we see what we look for. That's like what I was saying about the coffee table. Like, until we heal those traumas, they continue to play out. And so this person causes problems in their relationship because we have to be open. We have to be transparent. We have to be vulnerable sometimes. That's how trust is. Again, the divine union. I told you, this person knows who you are. It's again, and you know who they are, but they don't know what to do with the energy, and they wouldn't know what to do with the energy if they have all this unhealed shit. Because that's what I feel like this relationship did. It woke up a lot of spiritual blockages that this person has. And so that anger, that's what I was saying earlier. When we have a blocked heart chakra, you get angry because life is frustrating. It's hard. And the thing is, this person has a lot of pride, And they also want to control. Now we know if they have a blocked heart chakra, then that second chakra, which is all about a person's individuality. Well, if they don't have like a strong sense of self, then they're going to want to control. They're going to want to be dominant. And like I said, here it is, you're bringing out the vulnerability in them because this is a divine union where feelings are so deep. They have all this unresolved trauma, and you want this person to be, transparent. You want them to love you. You want them, but the truth of the matter is that you also have a blocked heart chakra. So it's like, you're like, I can't get what I want. And this person also can't get what they want. But Spirit says you both need to come to a place of spiritual equilibrium. And that's to surrender. And that doesn't mean to be with each other, but there's almost a sense of, it's got to be my way. It's got to be my way. And that's that second chakra where, again, when we're strong within ourselves, there's not a need to control. The twin flame, has to be balanced. And so here we're in this connection that this is a divine union. It's just stuck in the past life karmic energy because both parties want to control. And you're like, well, this person's not fair. And Spirit says, yes, but that doesn't mean you have to control them. Then it's about releasing. It's about surrendering. And then, like, even though you're like, well, I don't want to, Spirit says that unconditional love is what you learn with the divine union. In separation or together, a lot of healing's done in separation, a lot of like thinking, a lot of emotions come up. It has to, because again, the divine union is all about healing those deep-seated wounds that we're not aware of them. We think we're out of the relationship. It's fine. I forgot about it. I got a new job. I got a new dress. I got something. And Spirit says that's avoidant. There's still a block there, And so what we'll see is, again, the anger. And so it's like, wow, I get like, just feel like I get like that. And it's because Spirit's saying it's frustrating. And the more that you hold on to that energy, the more that you'll be in separation. And the more, that's why, again, you have to surrender. And even not to say, to run back together with this person, but at least to have a conversation where, right now you wouldn't be able to. Again, there's love blocks. And those blockages are blocks to the heart because of trust, because of secrets. So again, intimacy at its basic foundation is about trust. That's what it's about. It's about friendship. And you're like, they can't do that with me, I feel like. It's like they do it with me, but they don't feel safe. And Spirit says that's something that happens over time. And that's very difficult with a person that, is an avoidant. And you most likely have an anxious attachment style where you're like, I emotionally need that, and they don't give it to me. And Spirit says, so again, you need to give it to yourself, because once you cut your energy off, it makes that person look and change. And to actually look at their behaviorisms and to maybe surrender their ego. Otherwise, this person's like, they're going to be like a poker face. They're not going to show you their feelings or their emotions. They're going to act like everything's fine, or they're going to act, yeah, you're not going to know because I'm not going to show you that my vulnerability, which is, again, frustrating because you're like, well, what is that? And Spirit says, at this point, you need to look at it from your healing perspective, because you want this person to stop. It doesn't logically make sense that they do this. So stop trying to say, why? Because it doesn't make sense. It's because of their trauma that they went through. They have a block in the heart. So again, they get in their own way. They sabotage the connection. Has nothing to do with you, but I'm taking it personally. And Spirit says, yes, it's designed for that. Spirit says, because you have blocks in your heart chakra that I need awakened. Otherwise, this person is mirror. You're a mirror. Remember, your shit just doesn't look like theirs. You have different attachment styles, which gives different behaviorisms too. One's more enlightened than the other, but the other one's smarter in other aspects. The twin flame, the other half, no such thing as a half a person. However, the unconditional love does that. So this person doesn't think the way that you do. You don't think the way that they do. It's going to be very triggering if you try and again think, because Spirit says this is a spiritual issue. So again, parts of the pieces are missing, which are fragmented, which you can't see, which is why it's frustrating. And it's like, well, now I'm just stuck, connected to this person. And Spirit says you're never stuck. It's again, but you have to do something different. Hey, everybody, by the way, Henry and Sladaganda, I think I said your name wrong. And everybody else, if you like the video, give it a like and check out everything that's in the description box. All right. Secret desires. Again, this. So it's also like both have this issue. Talk, reveal, being vulnerable. Like, so it's like the secret desire, but it's like, but mine doesn't look that way. It's almost like when you make a painting and you copy someone else's and you're like, mine doesn't look that way. It's like, that's how love looks. It doesn't look right. And it's because without being emotionally available and open and transparent and being able to express what you need. So it's hard to express what you need from a person that's an avoidant. That's the thing. So, but they have the secret desires too. And so the only way that this person really knows how to be in a relationship, I feel like, is they get caught up in like a whirlwind, like where they'll come into your life like a whirlwind. And it's like, kind of seems like very dramatic. And that's because this person does not feel comfortable in their emotions. So it's a little bit almost like too much when they decide to actually be in the relationship. And that's what I was saying about that second chakra imbalance. When we have created ourselves, we don't shift in our personality like that. We feel safe. We feel, because safety comes within being safe within ourselves, not trusting the other person. That's what happens when we have a block in our heart chakra. We don't trust ourselves anymore because of that. And so that's what this person has. And it's a real issue. Don't think that it's not. The person, like, if they don't have high blood pressure, if they haven't had a heart attack, if they haven't had certain issues, you're going to see. But that doesn't mean that they don't love or that they care. But again, this person says, I can't validate our love in the 3D until I understand our spiritual love in the 5D. Like, it's like, yes, I feel the connection, but what does that mean? And again, this is what I was talking about. Like, they're not going to think the way that you think. They're not going to. So with you, you'd be like, well, I just feel it. So, I trust what I feel. I may not trust if I do a math problem, but I do trust what I feel. And so again, that's the issue. And so this person wants to explore that because they're like, if I'm not a strong spiritual person and I don't really know, is that enough for us to stay together? Because we are different. Now you're different, but you're the same, if that makes sense. Meaning, like, the experiences that you went through, what shaped certain times of your life and how it made you feel could be the same, but the way that you learned how to deal with that trauma was different. And remember, it's where you put your energy. If you're putting your energy to where your nose is in a book all the time and you're learning, well, then guess what? You're going to be very smart. And if you're someone that daydreams a lot and or gets lost in creativity, well, it's again that your intuitive abilities and your spiritual abilities are going to be heightened. So again, two totally ways of looking at life. Now, Spirit says both are correct, but not all the time. We can't be spiritual trying to do a math problem. It's not going to be well. It feels like a 5. Spirit says, obviously, it's not going to work. Just like directions, we need to actually know. And there's certain things that we need to be methodical, where This person seems to be very methodical, very left brain, very strategic, very so, and that's good in business, but it's horrible in relationships. And that's why this person gets in their own way with this heart block, heart chakra, which is going to trigger you because you're going to be like, well, what the fuck? It's just plain out rude, like what they do. And it's like, I don't want to be with someone that makes me mad all the time. And I'm going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in my life makes sense. Whether this person wants to or not, they're changing. And that's because the universe will always bring you the people, situations, and experiences that change your mind and your heart about how you perceive yourself. We're always supported. We're not here by mistake. We're here by God's grand design, and we're part of the universe. And we're connected to each other. And so when we're in that energy of love, which connects us, well, guess what? We evolve. This person's going through a dark night of the soul because there was a lot of things in their life that weren't built on truth. They were built on a shadow. And when you live from a lower perspective, you're not going to manifest good things. Eventually, the jig is up. People see. So we have to be in our true energy, because the universe eventually says that's not accurate. You're not allowed to walk around like that, pretending to be someone that you're not. Why? That means that you don't like who you are. You cannot not like who you are. You have to be true to yourself. This person doesn't like who they are because they don't really believe that anyone likes them. Because again, they have a blocked heart chakra. They're not where you may say, I know that people love me. I just have a hard time forgiving, and that's, but Spirit says that's still a blocked heart chakra. It's still like it's give and receive of love. You are my true love, my heart and my soul. See, I told you, this person knows who you are, but the feelings are so overwhelming. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of healing. And that's what really relationships are all about, really. I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. And there it is, folks. Because it's like Spirit says, yeah, that's all those shadows. This person going through a dark night of the soul because they were pretending to be someone else and living their ego and, living a facade. And it finally came to an end. And you're part of that. And so, again, that's why they know that they're not good enough to be with you. They know it. They don't know really how to fix it. And that's why I'm saying it's like, that's why they're conflicted. That's why they're going through a dark night of the soul. Life was okay before, but I feel like it was okay when they were able to live that facade. But now that the facade's not there, again, going through this dark night of the soul, whatever in their life wasn't working came to a close. And part of that was that relationship, I'm sure, because this person didn't 100% let go of that. And they were a bit like kind of using that person to get underneath your skin a little bit. And so everyone's experiencing a collective clearing right now. So you might say, well, why at this time? Why does everything look the way that it does? And Spirit says, well, there's a spiritual war happening right now, and that's a war on consciousness. And so you have to clear the karmic patterns that create the illusion that we're separate from our creator, separate from our spiritual sovereignty. And the connection to it is only through unconditional love. So anything that's not working in a person's life right now, you're going to see the tower. You're going to see the dark night of the soul if a person had a lot of that in their life, that facade, with illusions, because Spirit's saying it's like, one day heaven will be on earth, but that's through when I come through man, when I ground, because again, every single person has spirit inside of them, that energy of love, and their energy is to be the expression of love. And so again, the clearing allows that. So that's why the universe brought you together at this time with this person. And, they're like obviously not there. like Spirit says, they're doing work though, they don't have a choice, Spirit says, because the universe kind of just ripped the rug out from underneath them. Just like game over. The planets are activating us to heal and bringing us closer together. Surrender to the changes. So again, you guys are healing right now. And part of that is, again, this person wouldn't be able to heal certain things if you didn't come into their life. You just don't like what it looks like because you're like, well, that's great, but the relationship looks like shit. And Spirit says, yes, but one will get to your healing because there's a reason why you attracted this person into your life. I watch you on social media and the internet. It's my way of staying close and finding out more about you. So it's not like this person doesn't like, they're still holding on, obviously. They're just working through their wounds, trying to figure things out for themselves, finally. And that's because the universe stepped in and said, enough is enough. It's like, it's time to heal. You think I don't listen, but I do. I hear everything that you say, and they replay everything in their mind. So they just don't articulate it. They just aren't able to emotionally give you what you need. And they wouldn't have been able to until they've done this work. And so Spirit says, but you're not free and clear off the hook because, it's not like, oh, just one person had this. No, God says it doesn't work that way. You have blocks in your heart chakra. You have, again, spiritual blockages that need to be healed. And that's really what the twin flame, why it's such a sacred connection, why there's so much passion and fire. It's because that's what it takes to pierce through those wounds. There would have to be a lot of love. There would have to be a lot of passion. Now, we wouldn't stick around for this. The hell out of here. To look at that, it's like I do mighty fine avoiding it. And so Spirit kind of tricks us. And so Spirit says, funny, we look at the inner child wound cards and, you might say, play, that's not bad. Or that's bad. Where really playing isn't bad. Playing is finding yourself. Now I'll read the cards together, but not all the time do we cover, not all the time is it wounds. Sometimes it's gifts that we hide. Sometimes it's just things that would bring us happiness and passion and joy, into our life. Abuse. And then sometimes it's not. Discipline. Frustration. Self-sabotage. Well, we can see why you connected to this person, And then source. Well, of course, source has been with both of you the whole time. Been with both of you the whole time because both of you guys grew up with abuse. Both of you guys grew up in an environment where you were told that, you weren't good enough, you didn't have enough, that there was something wrong with you. And that might have been just by the way that parent treated you. Maybe it wasn't even words, but it was nevertheless, it was abuse. And when we grow up in that environment, there's a sense of that we tend to always we continue to try to please that parent as kids. But every day you're getting rejected. Every day that parent's treating you the same exact way. And that could be, well, I do love my kid. I'm just not a happy person. I do love my kid, but my man left me and, or my woman left me. Whatever, they dealt with their problems and they projected a lot onto their children. So the child doesn't feel safe. Child also feels like life is difficult. Because if the parent doesn't love them, they begin to look at the world and relationships through that lens. Like, no one really likes me. No one really cares. No one really accepts me. Like, again, abuse does that because we see what we look for, especially if it happened in like in our younger years in childhood. That means like it happened as early as like 2 years old, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, this is when the brain is being developed. This is when like we're being taught how comfortable we're able to feel in our physical body. And if we have a parent that's overbearing, well, guess what? We don't feel comfortable in the physical body. We're going to be comfortable in our brain and detached and disassociated. And again, because of that abuse. And so again, self-sabotage because of shame. Again, where I feel bad, I feel bad, I feel bad. So then life is very frustrating. So we're not creating anything during those times. Just know that, Spirit's saying. Because the whole point when you're becoming yourself, let's just say you're a child, when you're a child, be like childlike. Children go out and play. They use their imagination. They say, one day I'm going to be a hairdresser. One day I'm going to be a pirate. One day I'm going to be an actor. Whatever it is. And sometimes the children actually are consistent at feeding that vision, that dream. So that child now becomes an Olympic, or they becomes a painter or a piano player or whatever it is. It's like they fed it. They poured themselves, their energy, their time, their energy, their focus, their money. They disciplined themselves on that focus to become themselves. Both parties were not allowed to do that in childhood. That's not how they were brought up. They were told, you're going to do this, or you're going to not going to like what happens to you. That love is conditional. And guess what? Today, the conditions are bad. So not today. So, for a child, it's traumatizing because it's like, I don't have it. Like, it's like, I don't trust whether I can say something to my parent. They might get mad. They might take offense to it. I don't feel safe. So again, both were told not to be able to express. It's not safe. Why? Because I might get again rejected. Things get twisted around. Problems. It's like walking on a hand grenade mind. You don't know what you're going to say that's going to trigger that parent. So that type of trauma makes you very connected to source, because source says, oh, this parent really, I only look at intention, and the parent's intention, they do love that child. However, I'm going to take care of it. They're not really going to raise you. You're going to be inside your head, which means I'm going to raise you. You're going to have a very close connection to source. And so you'll be very psychic and intuitive. You'll be, because again, God's not right here. It's again felt, it's intuitive, it's ubiquitous. We just can't see it. So we have to trust and get good discernment. And so we're taught at a very young age. And so you weren't creating yourself, is what Spirit said. So both parties had the same experience. They didn't feel safe. They were taught love was conditional. There were consequences. And both were told that there was something wrong with them, or made to feel as if there was something wrong with them, or that they couldn't just relax. So Spirit says, I have to get involved because both these parties, they don't know what they're doing. I have to give support. So that's what a divine union is. It's like, but it's almost like both parties aren't ready yet. They're busy healing themselves right now, but they'll come back. I'm looking for my other deck of cards. I do this every time with this deck. Don't know why. It's like I like to entertain myself and looking for them. So I'm like, okay. So we see, again, how do we transmute that negative energy? Because this person's healing. You got to heal. Spirit says you're not done. This person, like it said, I feel like there's someone that is disciplined, someone that is grounded when it comes to certain things, but as far as feeling comfortable, to connect on an emotional level and feeling good within who they are. No. So Spirit says, stepping stones. Each small step brings you closer to overcoming your fears. Be patient with yourself. That everyone's healing right now, and you're like on a walk per se. It's like a faith walk, and it's a faith walk to brighter horizons. But Spirit says, I want you to envision a future filled with potential and opportunities. And that is going to require seeing your own genius, knowing who you are, being deserving of that. And that only happens when you listen to the whispers of your soul that are guiding you, that you have to align your action with your values. So, what is the action? Now we talk about this every reading. It's becoming yourself. And you get the story of who you think you are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. So it's an unfoldment process that happens when you're on it. Be like childlike. You're being asked to go out and play. So that means you have to find things that are going to stir up your soul. Spirit says, hey, there's a lot of empty space there. You didn't create, that you weren't, that wasn't available. Like, not as much or as consistent as it really should have been now. So that's a problem, because that means you don't like who you are, because you don't know who you are, because you're like, well, this is what it is. I go to work, I come home, I have some friends, maybe I take a trip. And for now and again, the Spirit says, I need you to really love yourself. And that means that your cup is full all the way. Go out and play. Find yourself. Have a love affair with yourself. Find hobbies, interests. Why? Because the twin flame connection is not an easy connection, Spirit says, even when both parties are healed. And that doesn't mean they're 100% healed. What it means is that they're aware of what their blocks are, and that they need to, again, be present and do something different to transmute that negative energy. It means to do something different. It's not to get triggered and do the same thing. So if you love yourself and you're interactive in your life, you're going to meet people and situations and experiences that the relationship then, when it comes together, is no way it can be codependent, which understands, Spirit says, hey, if both parties grew up that way, both parties are codependent. And God says, I don't like that, because that means that you need something outside of yourself. And I told you in the beginning, you don't need anything outside yourself, not even the crystals. You don't need anything, because you're whole. However, the blocks and the shadows make you perceive that you're not whole, which is why this person is coming into your life. Spirit says that's the whole point. It's not going to logically make sense. And it's not like, sometimes we're like, oh, I just want to be with that person already. And Spirit says patience. It's like, it's not like it's not going to happen. It's that healing. Spirit says, try acquiring some faith, will ya? And it's like, God says, please don't do my job. Do your job. Be like childlike. Go out and have fun. I keep that person busy for you. Don't worry. They need healing. Trust fully in yourself, your path, and the universe. And you'll get the resilience to persevere, because that's really what it is. It's trusting, learning to love yourself. And in that of pouring into yourself, that's what happens, because you really get to know yourself. And you're like, yeah, I'm actually a good person. I'm actually a smart person. I'm actually good at that. Or people look to me for those answers, or whatever it is. Spirit says you're going to find it. And then that's going to help you stand to a certain level, because the world will always try to get you to dim your light. But if you're seeing your own worth, no one can dim your light. No one can make you get off your path. No one can get you to betray yourself, because you're actually whole and full, and know who you are. And that's what Spirit's saying. Both parties need to do that. And it's not because like they were losers. They grew up in an environment where, hey, they went to school, they did everything that they were supposed to do, but growing up in that family dynamic wasn't healthy on a spiritual level. So they're spiritually out of balance. And that's why the universe conspires to bring us everything that we need, including this person. And Spirit's saying, it's about, again, look at this fearless heart. So you knew the heart was going to show up. Spirit says, have the courage to act from a place of love instead of fear. It's like, and that's what's not possible if you have a blocked heart chakra. You're not going to do that. You're going to come from, and that's the whole point of this connection. Spirit says you will always come from a place of fear until you actually heal those wounds. You're going to break them. And you, because in the going out and experiencing, you change, you evolve. And that person does want to come back. You are their love. They are doing the healing. But we can say how long, and Spirit says in divine time. It's like, I'll never tell you. It's divine time because it's when you're really ready and when this person is really ready and not going to tell you because wants you to focus on your healing right now and about loving yourself. Because that when this person comes in, believe me, then you're going to be giving this person a lot of your time. So you don't want to say, oh, damn, I should have went out and I should have. No. Whoop, look at that. That flew. And my doggies came in to visit. Okay. Trust, which is the whole point of this. Trust life and your strength. Each moment guides you to the light. Everything on your path is placed there for your growth, which is about, again, this connection. That's what Spirit is saying that. And we pull another, just take it one day at a time, one step at a time. So that means don't ruminate and don't focus on the future. Only in the now. Only in the now do you get divine guidance. And understand you probably won't even know whether you want to be with this person until that actual moment that you're confronted with it. And that's because some of you will say, well, maybe they come back too late. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if they're a divine counterpart, usually, again, they come back in divine time. Spirit has a way of saying, I know, but it'll be down to the wire. So, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to give the video a like. And if you're someone that's in need of shadow coaching, check out my $7.99 a month shadow healing coaching program. Comes with inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. It's very interactive. I like it because I feel like most people obviously go through trauma by themselves and they're not allowed to really vent about it. They don't have that support, which really needs support. You need to be around like-minded people. Support comes in all different ways. So again, if you're someone that has suffered, check out my shadow healing coaching program. Again, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you guys. I'll be on again soon. Love you guys. Bye.